Alright, so the aftermath of the Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw match is still very, very much alive and very interesting. And I wanted to expand a little bit further on my thoughts about it because, to be honest, I was afraid Eddie Hall was going to break his arm prior to the match, but it does appear that he has been well and truly bitten by the bug of arm wrestling within this match itself and has, I think, now developed the potential to actually love the sport. The reason I think he may love the sport so much is because he got to feel the adrenaline rush, the hormonal response to a genuine moment in the match where he came alive. I know that strongman does produce a lot of that adrenaline rush, and the achievement of getting the 500 kilo deadlift, all those sorts of things are very real, but there is something about taking on another human in a direct manner that is arm wrestling that creates an opportunity for a different set of hormones to get to dominate someone directly, physically, hand to hand, in a miniature martial art, call it whatever you want. That is a very impressive, and it's a feeling that you want to chase. And I could see that look in Eddie's eye, that he felt that feeling when he was sitting there calling Brian a, you know what, as he had the match stopped and as he was climbing and as he was regripping, and when he eventually got to straps and managed to take the high ground and pin Brian Shaw, you could see him. He came alive. He absolutely came alive. I think he may have potentially enjoyed that moment more than anything else he's done in recent times. Now, Eddie, I said I was afraid that he would break his arm prior to the match. I stand by that. Prior to this match, and I hadn't watched a whole heap of Eddie's training preparation, so I was filled with images in my head of him maybe gripping up with Larry Wheels, him gripping up with other strongmen in the past, where he was very much instinctively coming forward. He would grip low, and he would be hunting the ability to get onto his tricep, which for Eddie, it makes complete sense given what he can do in like overhead press and things like that. His elbow stability through his tricep is obviously as elite as that comes. But arm wrestling is a very different thing. And my concern for Eddie was that, and my concern for anyone actually that is an arm wrestler, that's a new arm wrestler, is the place and the reason you will break your arm is when you cannot accurately ascertain and assess how much potential side pressure your opponent has. And I would see Eddie coming forward. I would see Eddie coming forward and looking to cup and looking to get in instinctively and trying to commit to side pressure through his tricep when his opponent still had heaps of leftover and spare side pressure potential. And I knew that Brian Shaw was going to be a taller man, bigger man, and have the control of the high ground, most likely the control of the hand, and subsequently access to side pressure. And I thought, oh no, Eddie's going to try to hold on, Eddie's going to grip low. But the good thing was Eddie didn't do that. So well done to Eddie's coaches, Neil Pickup and his team, that really got Eddie just playing the game safely in respect to his body and getting him top roll and getting him rising, climbing, back pressure, rolling. Now, it worked out perfectly well because Brian Shaw played the same game, so it actually came down to wrists and fingers and re-gripping and timing, and Eddie showed that he's very instinctive on that. So I do believe Eddie has a lot of potential. There needs to be time before Eddie can become somebody who can be significantly placed in the arm wrestling world. But he showed that he has sharp instinct. He shows that he has an ability to outmaneuver an opponent on the table. He has a wicked trash-talking game that will make Devin Larratt even seem like a walk in the park compared to what Eddie can produce. And he's a genuine entertainer. And like I said, he saw and got bitten by the arm wrestling bug very clearly in this match. And so where to from here for Eddie is, who does he get next? Who do you give Eddie next in order to appease the appetite that is now, I guess, brought up inside of him? I don't know the answer. Look, I don't think he's ready for someone like a Larry Wheels yet. But we need to just manage it perfectly because he is such a strong human. We know that he is as strong as humans get. Once he learns a lane, once he learns how to move, Eddie could be an absolute monster within the sport. And my goodness, I'm sure he can get revenge. Look, there's part of me that would be like, I would like to see even a rematch again with Brian. These guys clearly have beef, and these guys clearly love competing with each other. I think Eddie loves competing with Brian more than Brian loves competing with Eddie, given the antics that he has to put up with. But for the sake of the sport, for the sake of the growth of these two, I would just love a rematch. I don't think that needs to be anyone else yet. Just let these guys keep growing. Let these guys keep developing what they've just experienced and what they've felt. They're clearly an asset to the sport. They're clearly going to do massive, massive things for bringing new people to the sport. I say rematch.